I don't know. You could go either way. Logan versus Dylan. That doesn't fucking matter though.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
What does matter? Let's talk about what does matter. And what
You
does
know what?
matter
You know what doesn't
is-
matter? Fucking organized sports. It's a distraction.
Well,
it's a It's a funny circus show to see. Oh, Dylan Dennis. Wow, this guy married a whore. You know who? How many people marry a whore every year? Let's see the statistics on that.
Well, even about sports being a distraction is look at all the stadiums. They're all bought by big corporations. They have the logo right on them. You know what I mean? Like it's there's an incentive behind this. There's when you have big businesses providing something for the community, it's got to be a distraction of some sort. You know what I mean? Like a consumer's grab. And even Aaron Rodgers, I believe it was some QB came out and said even the NFL is completely scripted.
Read the signs. Because when you look at the books and you look at the spread is like you versus Keith playing football. Your team versus him. Your team could be weaker than his team. So off rip, they're going to give you 7 points to start the game.
Yeah.
The game is now 7-0.
Yep.
Who do you want to pick to win? That's like a spread. That's how the spreads are.
You want to bet on the guy with the least amount, right? Especially if it's rigged.
Well, no, think about no, you have to here's a good example. How it's a story.
I was just gonna say that.
The Lions just beat the Chiefs, when the Chiefs are a Super Bowl winning team, right? Who just lost this Thursday at home. History repeats itself, does it not? So, the year before, the Rams won, and the Lions played them the first game of the season and won also. I don't believe in coincidences. So
Listen,
let's
with a
talk
story thing you said is exactly how they rig all these things. I watch the UFC a lot. I enjoy it's entertaining, And I'm gonna tell you this: the last couple main events, I fucking predicted them like exactly right, like just at least the main event. Okay,
Really?
And the Sean O'Malley, the Sean Strickland fight. So Sean O'Malley, I was like, this guy is like insanely marketable to the young audience. I mean, he's not the most charismatic in the public eye and stuff like that, but he appeals to them. He has a very entertaining style. I'm thinking to myself,
Sugar
this
Sean?
guy's definitely going to fucking win. He's definitely going to win. There is no doubt in my mind he is going to win, especially in this guy.
I bet
what happened?
$100 that you didn't know that Israel Adesanya was going to get his ass whipped.
No,
bro.
I knew that was going to happen. I knew
Really?
Sean was going to win. And going with the rig thing, I was thinking to myself, listen, Israel, after all these, him dropping the N-bomb in the cage, did you hear about that?
No.
Dricus Duplessis.
What's the N-bomb?
Yeah, I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah, let's not say
We're
that.
not, we're not
hey.
even rolling. We're not.
Yeah, who's in
no.
Paris, Kendon? You're Cape Verdean.
African Americans
Yeah.
are in Paris.
All right.
The French are in Paris. So let's be real.
No, right. But listen, like Dricus Duplessis, he's a white African. He was born there, okay? He might have came there from colonizers, but he was born there, he lived there, he grew up around the fucking elephants. He's African, okay? Now, Israel Adesanya, he's a guy, he's not in fucking Africa. He thinks he's a New Zealander, he thinks he's a Chinese person at the in another part of his career, and he has the Africa country tattooed on his chest. It's like he has an identity crisis. He's like 3 different nationalities at once, right? But he still wants to claim Africa because he's Nigerian. I mean, obviously he is. Look at him, okay?
Oh, Israel?
Yeah. So they go into a cage, and Dricus is African, and he wants to say that he's the real African. He still trains there, yada, yada, yada. Bunch of bullshit, doesn't matter. He still trains there, so he thinks he's more African. So what does Izzy do? He goes into the cage, and he starts saying to him, N-word, N-word, N-word. Try to bait him into saying it because you aren't a real African. You ain't a real black man if you can't say the N-word.
This guy's
You know
Steve,
what I mean?
right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
again,
Israel's saying it's a Steve.
It's a weird,
he's saying it to Dricus Duplessis.
I don't know who the hell that is.
that's a weird racial flex.
Who's
It
Drickle
is.
Stupid? Who's that?
He's an African UFC fighter.
Are you talking about the Israel Adesanya fight?
No. This is no, that's Sean. He didn't do this to Sean. This is another contender.
So Israel
I'm
did
just
this to
saying.
someone else.
I'm just saying where he started to fall and he started to get a bad public rep. I really think Izzy only appeals to the 10 to 15-year-old young
Anime love.
yeah, exactly what I was gonna say. But I know you like Naruto, so I was gonna say that.
It's
But
all right.
yeah,
No, I love it.
Those-
And I do like Israel Adesanya, so
No,
that does go to
I-
your proof, no?
see, and then with Sean, it comes out that Izzy has like a really weird fetish in terms of dogs. He calls his girlfriend a puppy. He's wearing dog chokers to press conferences and stuff. There's a video of him touching his dog's ball sack.
Oh, what the fuck?
Just like a little like flick
Who is this?
onto the ball
Oh,
sack.
Who is
that's
this?
so weird.
Israel?
A little flick
What is he-
onto
I
the ball
I
sack.
never said it was a
Is he some like bestiality freak or something?
Yes.
No
now,
disrespect to the
now in an
bestiality
interview
viewers.
when he said,
Yes,
no, all disrespect.
disrespectful.
All disrespect.
Dude,
All
if you're
disrespect.
fucking your dog,
Like and
you
subscribe.
should get mauled by a pack of coyotes. As far as I'm concerned. Listen, fuck you, dude. That's worse than. What's worse, pedophilia or bestiality? If you're even comparing the two, they're both terrible.
That's a crazy.
Pedophilia.
Pedophilia is worse. If you fuck your
Yeah, pedophilia.
But it's like
You have more connection to other people.
It's
I
feel
think
like it's
to
more
even compare the two.
traumatizing.
It's like pick
to a
your
kid.
poison, your dog or your fucking child.
Well,
like that's
well,
not a good.
Who
that's,
gets more traumatized? The dog,
child?
when it's
No,
an
the
actual
child.
animal, or a child.
Dude.
That's what I'm trying to say.
People that are like molested at young age, that is like the worst trauma to receive. I think that's worse than like getting like shell shocked.
Oh, dude,
Maybe.
Shell shock.
I knew a girl
Like
who,
Vietnam veterans.
Dude, I knew a girl who like was telling me she got raped like when she was like younger, and dude, she literally tried to kill herself. She told me like 8 fucking times.
Yeah.
I was like, what? But it's like,
Now, here's
dude,
the thing,
It's
though.
like, dude, you're set up for failure psychologically when that happens.
Yeah, when
Like,
that happens.
seriously, it's
So how many times did she try?
like 8 or something like
Ooh,
that. It was some like
well-
it was some like retarded
Okay,
number, bro.
let's just say 8.
Yeah.
let's just say
It was-
5.
I think it was more.
How come it hasn't happened though?
What do you mean?
There's a reason that she's
I think that all
here.
the time. I'm like, dude, people. There's no
There's-
way people are that bad at killing themselves.
Yo,
bro.
I
Like, it's
actually-
pretty-
Dude, it's not that hard, bro.
I think
no.
some people are
Divinely
destined
protected.
for things. I've thought about it myself. I'm like, how the fuck have I not died? I've had a lot of very close scenarios where one other piece shifted in a certain way. I would have been dead that day.
bike riding a lot of times.
Oh,
you're telling
yeah,
me.
that's just one thing.
No, but he's saying like in other situations.
Yeah.
Oh,
there was
yeah,
one
yeah.
other.
Even my upbringing. Like I fucking grew up until like 5 and forever. I was around a lot of very dangerous, toxic situations growing up until like 10 years old. And I think to myself, how it's like only by the will of something above was I able to carefully navigate that for them to not, do that.
So do you
ultimate sin.
believe in something?
Yes, I do.
All right.
As I said, I really think that there's some people, and whether it's their belief or what they were born into, the life path they were born into, which I believe is a real thing. I think some people are they're either going to have a easier time, they're going to have a rougher time, they're going to have more breaks, they're going to have more ways in which they have this luck where they get into these crazy fucking dangerous situations and they get out of it
Oh, yeah.
because they're meant for something. You weren't meant to, be there.
Yeah, it's happened to me many, many times, and it's like the universe has a way of kind of testing you in a way where you get stronger and you might get
Yeah.
hurt a little bit, but never to the point where like if you're really trying, like if you're destined for something, it won't allow you to die. It won't allow you to be fucked for life, right? But it'll test you just enough to push you. You know,
Just enough to give you.
show you how strong you are.
So what do you?
I think there's a type of understanding of life that you only get from these experiences where
Yeah.
3-5 seconds right after that, you like give out this fucking gasp and you're like, that could have been it. And what that makes you think is, wow, I didn't call my mother today. Wow, this person in my life, I should have talked to them. These are things that you only go through the steps to appreciate this more once you have a very real threat of that being taken away from you.
Yeah.
Very real threat. Because, listen, we take things for granted. It's human nature to get into the flow of life. You're in your cycle. Hey, I wake up, I work, I come back, I do this, I do that, boom, sleep, back at it again. But really, you gotta take a second to be idle. Take a second to be idle. Really think about the moving pieces in your life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know what they say is familiarity breeds contempt, right? So it's human nature, like you said, to take things for granted. So I think the universe does like, all right, yeah, you want to fuck around and take this shit for granted? Well, I'm gonna give you a near-death experience.
You know what's so miserable about this 9-to-5 cycle? And I want to say something. I don't think that the 9-to-5 cycle is inherently a terrible thing that will make you suicidal and not want to live your life. I don't think so. I really don't. Especially like hang around blue collar, workers, those types of people. They actually do enjoy their life. Even if it's like very grueling labor, I think they truly do like the motion of doing all this.
I'm gonna second that.
Yeah.
I do love you waking up early, going to work, even working later. But it's nice to have like a nice crew around you.
Yeah.
And just like everything else, enjoying your profession, enjoying your career. You know what I mean? Being good in something and being able to help others it feels honorable for me. You know what I mean? I almost wanted to become a cop too.
You should.
Or a businessman. Seriously, because I think it's so honorable and I love it. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, dude.
Oh, absolutely. It is interesting though. I've found that, especially when I talk to a lot of my buddies who, obviously it's not the case for you, I guess, Kendon, but a lot of my buddies who I talk to who went into, some sort of blue collar trade after high school.
You're miserable?
Yeah, dude. They're burnt. Well, hear me out.
What do they have outside of it?
Well, no. Well, the thing is even my buddies who have a lot going for them. Like I think it's people like the money, obviously, right? But I see these kids, they're like 19, 20, and they're already burnt out. And it's like, well, buddy, buckle up for the next 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and the thing about the 9-to-5 about it, like not being inherently bad, the way I see it is that when you're doing something you love, you don't got to put a time constraint like that on it. It's not like, oh, let me get to the end of my shift, right? It's, okay, well, I'm going to put all my free time into this because I love it. You know what I mean? When you love what you do, it's not a 9-to-5 job. It's a fucking lifestyle.
The money on the side is a bonus too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's better than an office job.
Let's go back to those people who...
But back to what we're saying. To some people, like me and your boys, we're different. To some people, they, like my brother, loves doing, like when he has homework 2 weeks ahead of time, I do it in class, dude. I'll do a project in like 5 minutes in class, and here you go. He loves getting straight to it. You know what I mean? Everyone's different.
It's not bad for a young kid though to have initiative.
That's a good thing to not procrastinate. I think that's something that's a negative trait that I have that goes against everything that I'm working towards is procrastination.
I think procrastination's a sin.
Yeah, well, it is.
But I want to stay on topic with that because there's still more to be said about the job thing. I think people need to work in things that they actually have a passion, a love, and an interest in. And now hindsight is 2020, whatever the fucking phrase is. So maybe you get into it, you think it, you get into it for this amount of time, and then it's like, oh, fuck this. All right. Well, you tried. It's better to try and fail than it is to never try and wonder if. What if?
Is it really trying though if you just kind of went down the path that like society has funneled you into it?
That's kind of what I want to go into.
It's like the path of least resistance.
Yeah, I want to go into like the 9-to-5 is allowing you to have these things on the side to do. Now, I would love if everyone just didn't have to work and you could 100% apply yourself to the arts, to creativity, to making things. Absolutely. But that's impossible. It doesn't work like that. It's too idealistic. Yeah, listen, we aren't all born into fucking millionaire families where they would just support you to do that.
That's how it should be.
In a perfect utopia, yes.
You think that people should, because I feel like even though I'm not in a billionaire dollar family, I was brought up with a silver spoon in my mouth, I think it makes me who I am. I love who I am. And it makes you 10 times stronger every day knowing you got to wake up at this time and go work because you have people to provide for. Mm-hmm. You have something to work towards, and you're not like everyone else. And if like waking up 4:30 in the morning and taking a cold plunge bath, oh my God, just because you're that guy. I have another statistic about that, but you're unique and it makes you 10 times stronger because no
See?
other person our age is going to wake up at 4:30 and take a cold plunge. And before you go into that, I want to say one more thing. The percentage of dopamine of taking cocaine is equivalent to taking a cold plunge, a cold shower.
Makes a lot of sense.
I'll take the cocaine.
Whenever I get the, I mean, even like a cold pool at night, because I haven't gone straight for the cold plunge stuff, which I really should, but it's like,
This winter,
Which is
Yeah,
go
we're
to the
gonna do
town
it.
dam and we'll fucking
but
do a polar pool.
you know, I go into a pool at night where no sun, there's no heating in the pool. That is fucking exhilarating just to feel that cold. Or in the winter, go outside in winter with no shirt on, go in the fucking snow, something like that.
Yeah.
It's exhilarating. It's getting all these endorphins in your body.
Yeah.
But what I think is more fruitful from what you just said is like this 9 to 5 cycle. Now, listen, that is like I don't think it's inherently bad just because what are you doing outside of it? You have so many hours.
You're drinking to forget the fact that you just worked a 9 to 5.
Yeah, but that's a
You know
trap.
what I mean?
like
That's
we
a
said,
trap.
that's
Maybe
some,
beating
that's
your
some
kids. I don't know. What
No,
do
but
people
think
do when
about
they
it.
get home from
No,
work?
think about it. That is like what they want you to fall into based
into,
upon the
yep.
conditioning. What you need to do if you're going to be conscious, and let me define being a conscious person. Being a conscious person is you get out at 5, right? You get off your shift. Now you're conscious of the fact, wow, I had a shit shift. I had to go service, you know, I did landscaping, and this family was the most annoying pieces of shit and were like autistically telling me to be so firm with every single detail of how I mowed their grass. I hate that. I want to kill a whole fifth of Jack Daniels right now.
Yeah.
Listen, being conscious is taking that
It
feeling.
happens, yeah.
Taking that feeling and being like, well, listen, if I drink a whole fifth of Jack, bad things might happen. Bad things will happen. You drink a whole fifth of Jack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? But it's being conscious is taking that feeling like, okay, if I have the emotion to down a whole bottle of whiskey, then let me put that towards something else that's actually going to fucking do something for me. It isn't going to leave me vomiting on my floor tonight and shitting.
Yeah.
let's talk about alcohol. Jack,
I'll talk about it.
let's. I think it's a good topic. Jack Daniels, right?
He's a slave owner for one.
I didn't know that. It's a good,
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But who wasn't though back then? Like,
I mean,
You know, everyone
the thing
besides
is,
the
though,
elites.
dude, do you think how funny it is though that
Bro.
like, the number 1 American whiskey is named after a slave owner, and everyone was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get that Jack tonight, Jack and Coke." You know how like I think that's
but let's
You know
cancel.
that's
Let's
fucked.
cancel Aunt Jemima syrup.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
Because
innocent black aunt.
the number one tell of someone being a degenerate for me is when I see them on their story in the car, like blasting the newest Uzi song while they're smoking a blunt and sipping like Henny or Jack Daniels. I'm like, wow, you are an angry person, huh? You are gonna
Yo,
go commit.
here's what I think.
Sure,
Shit
you're
on
about to go
life,
commit an armed robbery right now, aren't
Stay
you,
on
bro?
alcohol, but I will go into modern rap music because I think that is fucking devilish. That is terrible. I mean, the guy's
What
name
could
is
you
literally Lil Uzi Vert. Say it 3 times fast. I'm not gonna do that into this fucking microphone.
Lucifer.
Hey, you just brought some bad spirits into this room. We're gonna need to bust out the fucking sage, Josh. All right, but listen, like back to alcohol. There's a reason why it's a spirits store. You know, wine and spirits.
It's called spirits. Yeah.
You hear this all the fucking time with people. Oh, dude, that wasn't me. I was just too drunk that night, bro. That wasn't me.
Oh, that was you, bro.
Dude, think of all the fucking crazy shit that happens with alcohol. Alcohol is the one drug that is proven to increase violent crime.
Yeah.
It's proven.
Oh, besides like PCP, but yeah.
Maybe PCP. But if you're doing PCP,
Yeah, you're
probably,
asking for problems.
dude,
yeah.
a person doing PCP willingly, they have other problems besides committing a violent crime. Dude, listen, they're fucking stripping naked and trying to eat human flesh.
no, but
in the
go
fucking
back
street.
to why it's called wine and spirits.
What's
It's a spirit.
You like we said, you get blackout drunk and forget who you are
you forget what you're doing.
in that moment. And
I
you
get
forget
drunk.
what
I
you're
remember
doing.
exactly what the fuck I did.
No, but I'm saying some people get blackout drunk, and it's like kind of like a spirit, quote unquote, wine and spirit, a spirit taking over you and continuing that night of rampage.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not.
Oh yeah.
But that goes back to
You
what
start pulling your
that goes
homie
back to what I'm
aside
saying, bro.
and ranting, waffling about fucking nothing.
Yeah.
You pull your homie aside. Yo, bro, dude, bet I won't do this right now. Hey, bet I won't talk to this bitch right now. Yada yada. They're getting themselves into so many terrible situations that they're going to wake up the next morning and think to myself, "Whoa, I really said to this girl I want to fuck her." They're gonna think that,
Yeah,
right?
well-
Why did I do that?
Well, it's. I think it's important to really tell. You look at someone's eyes after they've been drinking, and
Oh, they
once-
get, like-
you can literally look at someone who's blackout drunk in the eyes, and you can say, "Okay, you're blackout drunk." Like you can tell just by looking at their eyes. They have like 1,000-yard stare. Like that's not them, right? And you got to think about it. It's like, all right, yeah, just like you said, you drink too much of this like poison, right? That's called spirits. Then you black out, forget what you're doing. You find out you fucking raped someone. You find out you fucking made a fool of yourself. You got into a fight or some shit, right? And then you wake up and you don't remember it. That sounds like possession to me. That literally sounds like you got taken over by something. And you, like Keith was saying, you see it all the time. Afterwards, people are like, I don't recognize you when you're drunk, right? Like, that's not you, bro, right? Even when you smoke too much weed, your eyes get all bloodshot and shit. You can tell, like, they're different people. Like, these substances have a real effect. Like, they take you over.
These drugs, they are used. I mean, not some people will intentionally say someone wants to take a mushroom trip, an acid trip, things like this. They will do that intentionally to open themselves up or to go into, certain things of consciousness. And the more you know about this, you'll understand that this type of altered consciousness is literally like a realm, right? But let's not get too deep into that, okay? We can apply this to literally anything that you take it in and it's giving you a feeling. Something like coffee, all right? Something like alcohol, something like weed, even nicotine is going to open you up to a thing, and you're burning this, you're inhaling it, yada, 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 and it's going to alter the way your mind is going to think, right?
Yeah.
You're taking these things in. You need to be conscious of this fact, because too many people, they just think, oh, I'm going to smoke this weed, get high. Well, dude, be very careful when you're getting high around certain types of people. Be very fucking careful who you're doing this stuff with. Treat it with some fucking respect. Something like alcohol. That's like the number one thing I would say. Actually, no, besides psychedelics. Treat psychedelics with respect or you will end up a loony bin.
Please do.
Okay?
Because I used to, obviously, I used to sell psychedelics. I used to sell mushrooms. Right?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Oh, yeah. There was a rumor going around that I sold mushrooms, right? And so when, this happened, I would always tell people, I would say, please, when you take these things, don't just take them to get fucked up. Actually take them for a good purpose. And then I would go down and I'd go see the person, right? And they'd be off 6 G's, just laying on their bed at a party with all their boys laughing at them. And I'm like, why'd you do that? You know what I'm saying? You need a good intention when you take these things. And that's one of the issues with alcohol. Nobody takes alcohol with a good intention.
People don't respect the fact that if you were to take too much alcohol at once, you could literally fucking die right there. Yeah. The last known thought you would have is downing a whole bottle of spirit,
and
right? They don't respect that.
What does that do when our whole culture is alcohol? That's, you think of America.
You want to know why that happens?
Of having fun.
Yeah,
having fun.
Of having fun. It's that's not fun.
It's all down to our legal age. You go look at other countries where the legal age is perhaps 18 or even 16. I think Czech Republic 16, right?
Yeah, that's what my boys were telling me. Yeah.
So it's 16 there. These people, maybe they drink on average a bit more than us, but I guarantee you there's way less incidents of you have people acting a fucking fool in public after drinking way too much.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
because they understand and respect that.
Yeah. Well, the issue is so there's a good thing and there's a bad thing with lowering the drinking age like that. This is what I was seeing when I visited my boys in Czech. So the one thing is, first of all, they have classy fucking functions. So you're not going to see you would at a college dorm, you're not going to see some fucking idiot sitting there throwing up in the middle of the function because they're blackout drunk and they've never had liquor before in high school. So they come into college and they overdo it, right? And they just don't know how to handle their liquor, right? You don't have people getting blackout, really. When I went to a function there, they gave me a glass of beer and a glass of wine, and everyone was sitting around having a nice, classy gathering, right? So since they're it's not taboo, It's very accepted from a young age. They have experience with it, so they're not fucking dumbasses with it when they actually come into possession of it, right? The other thing that's bad, though, is that if you look at the alcoholism rates in these countries, they're a lot worse because you get kids like getting hooked on it way earlier. It's way more normalized to be an alcoholic. I just don't understand in our culture why we like, that's like our identity.
It's too taboo. I think the taboo of it makes it a lot worse. And because of that fact, once they do finally get a hold of it, oh my God, I've been waiting to have a fucking Budweiser since I was 14, watching my dad drink 12 of them on the couch, get blackout drunk watching Friday Night Football, right? So, oh my God, I finally have it. I'm going to go all out, okay? And then you get these people, the first time they get drunk, oh my God, room is spinning. I better get on my Snapchat, start texting fucking 12 girls.
Or start posting
A story, fucking, oh, we're all going crazy, all that shit. Dude, here's the first step to be responsible. Put your phone fucking away. Yeah. There is nothing good that happens when you are blackout drunk with a phone at your disposal. Dude, you could literally set in motion like you jumping a person the next day.
Yeah. It's like, that sounded like a good idea at the time.
Yeah, no.
But there's the other spectrum. So you have the people who have never drinking before, so they're offered their first handle and then they end up fucking blackout with alcohol poisoning, right? But then you have the other people who take one beer, they drink one beer and they're like, oh my God, dude, I'm so fucked up.
No, they're all capping.
And I'm like, all right, buddy, simmer down there, right? You had one and a half. You had one and a half cores, like you're good.
You see what like the new, it's not new anymore, but a Borg is you take a gallon of water, take half of it out, put any choice. So you want to talk about Jack Daniels, put Jack Daniels in there, and you put Mio or food coloring in it or whatever, something like that. Like, you know what I mean? The little squirt bottles.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, you put Mio in there, and you have to kill this quote-unquote Borg in a certain amount of time. And, dude, that's when you actually, like, want to commit arson, bro, on your fucking campus. Dude,
those are dangerous.
That's how people catch rape charges.
But that's what you said, though. You don't respect the let's just say the substance, the wine and the history about it. So, like, that's when you drink to drink, and my mother always said, don't drink to get drunk. That's
a good way of looking at it.
Like,
drink to socialize.
Anytime that I've
it is a good social lubricant.
Listen, anytime that I've ever looked
at, get you talking.
Yeah.
Any amount of beer, okay? Let's say I have a 6-pack. If I look at a 6-pack of beer, now here's the thing. The more you drink, you'll figure out, like, listen, the amount of time in which I drink this is going to completely change whether or not I'm vomiting on the floor or if I'm fine. I could look at a 6-pack of beer, and if I think to myself, I'm going to drink this to get drunk, listen, I'm going to get drunk. It don't matter if it's only 6 light beers. I can kill it in an hour.
That's interesting.
When people do that, though, that's when shit. It doesn't even matter the amount of alcohol.
No,
this is how like when that culture of like egging people on to like drink a shit ton amount in a very short period of time. Yeah. That is terrible.
Couple shotguns.
Yeah, a couple dude.
Yeah,
call it a night. Couple shotguns and
someone tells you to shotgun, dude. Don't.
What's the worst in like college fraternity or college sports teams, dude? Because I'm obviously not going to oust my sports team because I love those guys. But you have some like.
Have you heard the stories of like people being forced for their fraternity hating? But you want to be one of the boys? You want to be gay like us?
Yeah. It's dude, yeah.
Kill this whole bottle in 2 minutes, and you will literally die. There's people who fucking die doing that.
And even an extreme story I heard was that there was I don't remember the school, some college where they tied up their initiates for a fraternity, one of the big good party fraternities, and they like.
I think it's the same story.
Yeah, they asked them questions, right? And if you got a question wrong, you had to like drink Everclear, and obviously Everclear is like. What is the percentage?
It's like 90, like some 99%.
Some stupid percentage, and a kid actually fucking died.
Yeah, dude. I think this is the story I'm thinking of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
people don't have respect.
That's not even like for taste though. At that point,
no, it's just
no. Everclear is delicious.
Yeah, but no, it's not. But what I don't understand is like, okay, so not only I wish when I was an initiate for my sports team, I wish that I had literally just been like, I'm not doing this. But it's that type of a vibe, like you want, like, you look up to these older guys so much and you idolize them, and then they're the same ones who get some sort of like a sick pleasure from locking you in like a dark room and forcing you to drink with like
Forcing the dick inside you after you're
yeah, like forcing you to just like get blackout drunk. It's like I made it a thing, like when
Does that happen?
when I'm an upperclassman, like I'm not gonna like be telling the freshmen to do that shit. Like I don't get like a pleasure from like forcing kids who look up to me to get blackout drunk personally. Like I think that's super dangerous.
Hey,
I think it's stupid and it's not really fun.
I mean, how quickly does college nightlife, killing beers, turn into 12 beers, cocaine, 12 beers? How quickly does it turn into that?
And here's another question.
How it's a slippery slope, dude.
And how soon does college fun turn into oh wow, you know, I'm a crippling cokehead and alcoholic.
Yeah.
You know, the second you graduate. For anyone who is wondering, the
Listen,
second you graduate, you're no longer a kid.
Alcoholism is
fun.
really cool when you're around a bunch of other drunk motherfuckers at the age of 20. And then alcoholism becomes literally going to ruin your life. I'm 25 and I cannot go long enough without a drink that it impedes on my family life. It impedes on my job life. I can't show up to work not drunk. Mm-hmm. If I show up to work not drunk, I'm going to fucking vomit and like shit my brains out.
Or hit someone because you're tweaking. Yeah.
I mean, the people literally get the shakes. And when you're younger, listen, you get away with it.
Yeah.
Listen, when you're 30, try to have 2 beers. Wake up the next morning. You're going to feel it, especially if you had the college, you know, degenerate cycle.
Yeah.
A lot of people go through that. And then they're 30 and it's like, oh my God, how the fuck did I do that when I was younger? Yeah. That's how fast it fucking happens. And that's how fast it becomes completely impossible to manage that. You are going to ruin your life when you're older with this type of, you know, addiction. Yeah. I don't care what your ego thinks. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna drink 6 beers tonight. And I'm gonna wake up. I'm a 40-year-old. I'm gonna drink 6 beers and I'm gonna wake up, go to my job in construction, be completely fine. It doesn't happen once you get older.
No, and even it changes the way people, the perception of how people view it as you get older too. When you're a kid and you get caught drinking, like everybody's just like, oh, they're just kids. That's what kids do. They're just having fun, right? You get to college, it's like, oh, that's expected. I have literally like had adults like in my life like almost like surprised that I like say I don't drink. They're like, oh, you're in college and you don't drink. And like even my buddies, like to an extent, like they shame me a little bit for it. They're like, oh, like you don't drink, you're a college kid. It's expected and it's almost reinforced by college culture. And it's like, oh yeah, but it's accepted until the second you graduate and you're actually an adult in the real world. Now you're a barely functioning alcoholic.
You're also kind of dealing with these issues together.
Yeah.
As a group in college. And something that I love to say is I love this quote, the weak lean on each other and the strong walk alone. So when you're in college and you're pounding these fucking Happy Dads, we're not sponsored by the way. But
we could be.
We always could be. We always could be. But
shout out Steve will do it.
No, but when you're with other people, right? Like let's say you're with your boys, right? At sports and you're having some drinks and then it's just a constant cycle of drinking. Then eventually you get to the age of 30, like you're saying, and you're on the couch watching fucking Family Guy, sloshed another night of your life because you had a miserable day.
Gone.
Then you're fucked. Because I feel like when you're with other people, you guys deal with it together and it becomes something fun. But then when you're by yourself, it's a fucking problem. When you need beer that night, you need that. Let me say it one more time. You know what I mean? You know what a necessity is? Something that your body actually needs or yourself needs to go on and live. Like food. And we're not talking about preservatives. We're talking about actual food. We're talking about water. You know what I mean? But you don't need alcohol.
No. Absolutely.
You don't need cocaine. You don't need none of that. And you are fucked.
Yeah, and
if you continue these habits outside of college.
Yeah, and even like, you know, drinking with friends like you were saying, I think something people don't take into account is if I really want you to look around at like your friend groups, right? And if you find that there's certain people that you can't hang around with without smoking or drinking, like you can't hang out with them sober and have like a not awkward conversation, that's not a friendship.
Dude,
that's like a lot of friend groups do,
that's
right?
the most classic situation. And I'm sure Kenneth, have you experienced that?
Experienced what?
Where you have this realization, you take a step back, you haven't smoked any fucking weed, you haven't drank a beer. You think to yourself, if I texted this person right now and I asked them to hang out, and this is not related.
No, but go ahead.
But as like a grown man, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Why the fuck are you hanging out? But no,
To an
seriously.
to an extent.
Why are you
What's the-
hanging
what's the
out?
point of
Yeah,
hanging
like
out?
you
Yeah.
should have a point. Yeah.
There has
I know
to be
where
a point.
I know where you were going with
Yeah,
that.
I get what you're saying.
But
No.
I don't smoke and I don't drink on the
Okay.
regular day-to-day basis. But
Good.
around me, I see a lot of people. Like a kid I was talking to, he goes, I'm like, oh, you're gonna hang with your boy? And he goes, no, I didn't have any weed, so he didn't want to hang out with me today.
That's crazy.
That's your boy.
So he's seeing you as a ticket to fucking smoking.
But that's your boy though. It's
It's not your boy.
you're
It's-
bonding over substances instead of cigars
Yeah.
and casual podcast talk.
Hey, listen. You know the types of people that, I mean, we all know this. This is a personal thing. Hey, let's all go smoke weed under the fucking bridge in the Grove.
Yeah.
I talked to you about this before.
Absolutely.
What type of people take drugs under a bridge? Kendon, let me fucking ask me.
What type of people take drugs under a bridge?
Homeless crackhead. It doesn't make a difference that you have a house and it's weed in the bowl. It doesn't matter. You are smoking weed under a fucking bridge like you're a goddamn troll. Literally. Like, you're fucking Lorax, dude.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to think to yourself, bro, what am I doing?
Yeah.
That is crazy though. Like that's such a normal thing that I'm sure we all experience. Well, not you. No offense. You probably weren't in that type of circle, but I know a lot of people.
I was.
I know a lot of people would smoke weed on the bridge. Who does that? Crackheads, homeless people. Don't be like that, man.
Even me and my boys would go find an abandoned house and we would go smoke in it. But
Yeah.
really, that's very like heroin.
It is the
It's
problem. Though.
behavior.
When do you realize that it's a problem? Because if I tell,
Hopefully
if I
before the
take
age of
just-
19.
Yeah. yeah.
Hopefully you wake up one day as a senior in high school. I mean that passed for you guys, but hopefully one day as a senior in high school, you woke up and you thought to yourself in this fucking marijuana haze, wow, I just smoked under a bridge with like 3 people all wearing fucking sweatpants and beat up Nike sneakers.
cookie sweatshirt.
Yeah, cookie sweat. Wow, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I taking drugs in a fucking disgusting bridge
That's another thing, though. I
with
feel like
graffiti all over, bro?
no, like you. Let's just say you have one life, right? Whatever you believe in, you have one life. Why not become the best version of yourself? You have so much potential.
tell you
I don't even
that's
care
why.
I don't care who you are and your circumstances. You have so much potential, and you want to numb yourself of this pain instead of accepting it and carrying it on your back and continuing the life that you were given. It's not a fluke that you were born, but the statistics of you being born is a fluke. It is insane to say, but why not take this one life and grab your balls and let it drag down the pavement and fucking no, seriously, and become the best person you can ever
Well,
be.
I'll tell you why. There's so many distractions. There's so many desires. Right? Now, this is something you have to take a step back and you have to think to yourself, like, well, I can attest to this in my personal experience where I had to take a step back and I was like, well, I want to do these things. I really like doing them. Right? But they're fucking dumb. They don't bring any actual success, because these are desires. Something like, porn is the most obvious fucking example. All right? Whenever you're doing these things that are strictly desires, and I'm not just talking about lust, I mean like, oh, I really could use an extra 2 hours of sleep. It feels so good to sleep in this fucking comfy bed. Oh, I'm going to eat another fucking bacon, egg, and cheese right now. That new Dunkin' Donuts pumpkin spice latte with 1,000 calories. It's so scrumptious. That fucking 180 grams of sugar going through my body. So delicious, right? These are things you desire. There are also things that over time are going to fuck up your reward system. All right. And it's a very subtle thing. It's a very subtle thing, but it's going to fuck you up over time. And you're not going to be able, I think, it's gonna fry your brain.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody right now is just dopamine chasing.
Yeah.
Like literally everything in society, what you consume is designed to just give you a short little burst of,
Yeah, how can you
the
not,
feel good happiness chemicals, right?
Yeah.
But what people don't understand is like There's other forms of happiness. There's serotonin, right? That's real fucking happiness. That's like that long-term happiness. You know how you get a boost of serotonin? You set a goal and you fucking accomplish it. That's how you get serotonin. People aren't chasing serotonin out here, though. People are chasing dopamine. They're chasing that short-term fucking burst of feel-good emotions, right?
It's around you, though. So I know we talked about this one time, but when you have TikTok and you have all these social media platforms and you can constantly scroll 10-second videos of,
It's the fantasy.
it's a fantasy of legit,
Listen.
legit, it could be anything. And you get sick of that. Like, I see it in myself. I love TikTok and I'm getting sick of 20-minute videos of just one thing because I want everything at once. You know what I mean? It's kind of like an overwhelming
You're-
pleasure